everyone! Welcome back to What's in a Name on Ainishtine Knows, the series revealing the shocking hidden stories behind the world's country names. Today we're heading to one of the oldest civilizations on Earth, Egypt, home to pyramids, pharaohs, the Nile, and mysteries that have fascinated humanity for thousands of years. But here's the mind-blowing twist right from the start. The name Egypt isn't Egyptian at all. It's not what the ancient Egyptians called their own land, and it's not even what people there call it today. The name we all use comes from ancient Greek, and it started with just one temple in an old city. Stick around, because this story involves gods, forgotten capitals, and a name that completely changed how the world sees this iconic country. You're about to discover why Egypt is basically a 3,000-year-old misunderstanding.
So if Egypt isn't from the Egyptians themselves, what did they actually call their own land? The ancient Egyptians had several names for their country, depending on the context. The most famous was Kemet, which means black land. It referred to the rich, dark, fertile soil along the Nile River that made farming possible, the lifeblood of their civilization. In contrast, the surrounding desert was called Deshret, the red land, barren and hostile. Together, these describe the two worlds they lived in, the narrow green strip of the Nile versus the vast red desert. They also sometimes called the whole country Ta Meri, beloved land, or simply the two lands, referring to Upper and Lower Egypt united under the Pharaoh. But the name that would change everything came from one specific place. In the ancient capital city of Memphis, there was a grand temple dedicated to the god Ptah, the creator deity. The full Egyptian name for this temple was Hwt-ka-Ptah, meaning House of the Spirit, or Ka, of Ptah. This one temple in one city would accidentally give the entire country its name in the outside world. Because when ancient Greeks arrived centuries later, they heard Hwt-ka-Ptah and turned it into something completely new.
Centuries after the height of ancient Egyptian power, new visitors arrived from across the Mediterranean. The ancient Greeks, explorers, traders, and scholars, started interacting with this incredible civilization. They were amazed by the pyramids, temples, and the mighty Nile. But when they asked about the land, they didn't adopt the local names like Kemet or Ta Meri. Instead, they focused on that famous temple in Memphis, Hwt-ka-Ptah, the House of the Spirit of Ptah. The Greeks couldn't quite pronounce the full Egyptian name. Over time, they simplified and Hellenized it into something easier for their language, Aegyptos. At first, Aegyptos just referred to the city of Memphis or the temple area. But as Greek influence grew through trade, stories, and later writers like Herodotus, they started using Aegyptos for the entire river valley and the whole country. This Greek version spread through the ancient world, especially after Alexander the Great conquered Egypt and founded Alexandria. Eventually, when the Romans took over, they Latinized it further to Aegyptus. And from there, it evolved into the English Egypt we use today. So the name the entire world knows for this ancient land actually started as the name of just one temple in one city. A single building accidentally renamed a whole civilization.
The Greek and Roman name Egypt spread across the ancient world and eventually became the standard in Europe and beyond. But what about the people who actually live there? To this day, Egyptians don't call their country Egypt. In Arabic, the official language, it's Misr, or more formally, Jumhuriyat Misr al-Arabiya, the Arab Republic of Egypt. Misr is an ancient Semitic word that goes back thousands of years, even predating Arabic in the region. It likely comes from a root meaning fortified place or city, possibly referring to ancient walled settlements along the Nile.
Some scholars link it to Mesopotamia or Akkadian terms for the region. When Arab conquerors arrived in the 7th century AD, they adopted and kept this old name, Misr, for the country. It's been used continuously ever since, through Islamic caliphates, Ottoman rule, and into the modern republic. So while the rest of the world says Egypt, a name born from one Greek temple pronunciation, the people who live there, speak Arabic, and carry the direct cultural legacy still call it Misr. It's a perfect example of how names can have two completely different lives, one for outsiders, shaped by history and language barriers, and one for locals, rooted in their own ancient traditions. The temple that accidentally gave us Egypt never changed what Egyptians call home.
This dual naming tradition continues strongly in the modern world.
Globally, Egypt is the name on every map, in every history book, and on every tourist brochure. It's how the world thinks of pyramids, pharaohs, and the Nile. But inside the country, it's Misr on street signs, in newspapers, on TV, and in everyday conversation. Egyptians take pride in both. Egypt connects them to the ancient legacy the world admires, while Misr feels like home, rooted in their Arabic identity. Tourists arrive saying, "I'm going to Egypt," but locals greet them with, "Welcome to Misr." Passports, money, and official documents all say Misr in Arabic. The name split reflects layers of history: Pharaonic past, Greek and Roman influence, and Arab-Islamic present. It's a rare case where a country has two equally valid names, one for the world stage, one for daily life. And unlike Iceland's deception, this wasn't a trick, just languages and cultures overlapping over millennia. The temple that accidentally gave us Egypt never erased the older name that Egyptians kept alive. Today, both names coexist, a beautiful reminder of how history leaves echoes in something as simple as what we call a place.
So, what do you think about Egypt's incredible double name story? Is it fascinating that one temple accidentally named the whole country for the world, while locals kept their own ancient Misr alive for thousands of years? Or does the split between global Egypt and everyday Misr surprise you the most? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. Do you love the pharaonic vibe of Egypt or the Arabic pride of Misr? And which country should we uncover next in What's in a Name? Greenland to finish the famous swap with Iceland? Argentina and its silver myth? Japan's poetic origins? Or somewhere completely different? Drop your suggestions below. Your comments will shape the series. There are hundreds more shocking name stories waiting, some even wilder than this. We're building this journey together, so keep watching, keep commenting. Thanks for joining me on this one. See you in the next mind-blowing episode.